Welcome to the Women in Wealth podcast, brought to you by Regina McCann-Hess, a certified financial planner with over 2 decades of experience. This show is for professional women who want guidance in working towards their retirement vision in learning, building, planning, striving for your dreams, and putting the work in now so that you can pursue your financial independence. Hello, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, we're still kicking off the new year of 2026. We're still in January. So January is divorce month. So we're talking about things that are in and around divorce. And today I have 2 lovely ladies with me to talk about what they're doing to help women and other people going through divorce. And Lauren and Lori are my guests. But Lauren, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then Lori can introduce herself.
Thanks, Regina. It's such a joy to be with you today. I'm so happy you asked. So we're very excited to tell you about the program that we're doing together. But let me first tell you about what I do individually. So my business is called Lasting Change Wellness, and I'm known as the Becoming Coach because we are all always in the process of becoming. So I work with women, often women business leaders or solopreneurs, to fall deeply in love with themselves, to really deepen self-trust and confidence so that they can design their lives and their work with clarity, with joy, and with success. And to do that, I developed a program called Shine. It is a coaching accelerator, and it truly speeds up the self-discovery process. And that is the piece that I share with the project that Lori and I do together.
Love it.
And I am Lori Bryant Woolridge. I am a certified spiritual and relationship coach. And I have a company called Soul Innovations Coaching. And I teach and coach mainly women around relationships and love based on self-love and how to find and fall in love with the best of themselves, and then how that impacts their relationships outside of themselves. So whether I am helping women attract love into their lives, or in some cases, extract themselves from relationships that no longer work, it's all in alignment with who they are, what they want, and what their own authentic self is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So together, Lauren and I have come together to create Freedom to Flourish, which is, and our signature program is the Your F.A.B divorce. So that's why we're here today, to talk about all things divorce and how it can be more fabulous than you think.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I'm going to just touch one thing about the loving, the loving part of what you spoke about, loving yourself. And when we have to love ourselves before we can love others, kind of like when you're on an airplane and the attendant says, hey, put the oxygen mask on yourself before you help someone else. You have to be able to help yourself before you can help someone else. So I love what you ladies are doing. That's amazing, amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so tell me about your program. And obviously, I mean, I've read a lot about it. Lauren and I have spoke a couple of times about the program. And I know that it's got to be fabulous because the word fabulous is in it, of course. So tell us a little bit more about that and, how you came to put this program together.
So between the two of us, I'm the only one that's divorced.
Okay.
And the way F.A.B got created was I spent 10 years on the runway of wanting to get divorced, but afraid to get divorced. And in that time, I was watching a lot of friends or acquaintances getting divorced. And one of the things that I noticed that it was most of them were going through very tense, very exhausting divorces that were full of conflict. And they also were spending years after getting divorced, trying to recover and grab their life back and figure out who they were within this new life and new chapter. And I really looked at that and said, I didn't want to do that. And so I noticed that they were focused on the fear and not their future. I noticed,
Mm.
and the fight that came with the fear, right?
Yeah.
And so being focused on the fight instead of the future, everything was about this moment and power struggling and all that kind of stuff. I also noticed that everything was driven by that anger and fear. And that was really a lack of clarity that they had around my own life. It was all about this moment. And so I decided I wanted to hit the ground running when I left that courtroom. And so I created this 10-day retreat for myself, which was the original F.A.B program. And I
Love it.
borrowed a friend's house in the Hamptons and I went up, and for 10 days I worked through my angers and I worked through the fears. I mean, a lot of that was happening before, but really faced them head on. Biggest one is financial. That's a
Hmm.
huge, huge fear. And I also did a lot of work is, okay, what do I want in the future? And then I backpedaled from that to decide what I wanted my divorce to look like. So when I knew what was important for me, I could then work towards the negotiations and everything you have to do during the divorce process. So once I got divorced, I did hit the ground running, and people looked at me and asked, "So, how did you do this?" And I kept getting those questions. And then I began to expand it for my own individual coaching clients. And then after I met Lauren, I loved what she was doing and how she was doing in her Shine program. So I said, "Hey, come join me and really let's expand this into something bigger, better, and a lot more useful, I think, in many, it's the full circle, 360. And
Hmm.
so that's how that your F.A.B divorce was created.
And the thing that we really both have in common, other than truly helping people dive deep into the self-love, is the mindset piece. And everything in our life, everything we experience, you have an opportunity and you have the choice as how you want to interpret it. And divorce is no different. Divorce can either be an ending or it can be, as we like to say, your fabulous new beginning. And that's mindset. And so we both bring a lot of our mindset work to your F.A.B divorce and help people, I mean, for want of a pithier phrase, like turn their frown upside down, not to minimize it. It's hard. It's definitely
Yeah.
hard. So we encourage people to walk through the feelings, not to avoid the feelings, but experience it. Because once they do, and this is why Shine is such a valuable part of this, they start to shine from the inside. They explore what they want next. They get to see the world in terms of opportunity instead of limitation. And so that's something that I think truly helps set them up for leaving that tunnel of fear and shining in their future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a big part for us is really helping people zero in on the tools that help them to feel better right away, but really set them up for long-term success.
Yeah. And I can see how, like, when there's a fear, there can be inaction because of that fear. And it keeps you, no matter what your situation, whatever the fear is about, it could prevent you from taking steps to get past and beyond that fear. So I love that you're like right out there, like, hey, we're going to talk about that fear. We're going to
Yeah.
handle that fear. We're going to like work through it. That's huge. I love that.
Yeah,
And I
we really
love
are. I'm sorry. We're really trying to turn that tunnel of fear to change your perspective and think of it as an incubator
Ooh.
where you can go in there and not just go through your divorce, but grow through it
Hmm.
and do some of the self work while everything's falling apart anyway. You might as well look at some of the pieces on the ground. So it can be a place where you're not just where your marriage and your role as wife goes to die, but you can be reborn into the next best version of yourself.
Yeah. That's
And we
amazing.
see our clients just, they're so excited about who they are becoming. And they're so protective and fiercely protective of, it's like a newly hatched chick, right? They're hatching out of what was into what could be. And it's
Yeah.
so powerful for them and they get so excited. And I love how on your website, Regina, you say, what does freedom look like for you? And for us too, and that's why we call it freedom to flourish. Like, what is that flourishing really going to look like for you? And it looks like freedom.
Yes, I like that. So, tell us about the program, like, the right timing. I mean, there's never perfect timing, but is it while somebody's going through divorce? Is it before they go into divorce? Like, when's a good timing for them to enter the program? How long is the program? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's self-paced, and we
Okay.
have 8 different units, so you literally can get in where you fit in.
Okay.
Um, it is in our beta testing program, we had clients that were on the runway trying to decide. We had those that were going through it, and we had those that are done with it. And we
Mm-hmm.
absolutely see the benefits in each program, each section,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because you have to be different people in each one of these different areas or parts of your divorce. One of the things that it's important to realize is that we ask you to do a lot of self-reflection work because in order to get through that tunnel as an incubator to grow through the process, you have to look at a lot of yourself. It is not victim oriented, it is victor oriented. So we're not looking at you to look at all the things that they did or they didn't. We want you to look at where you help co-create this relationship. So one of the things that we always try to tell people is that your F.A.B divorce is meant to be part of your divorce process. It's not something that, we recognize, and I certainly recognize going through divorce. You got to get the financial records. You need to get this. You have to worry about this and that and that. And there's a lot. But this is part of beginning the process of being committed to yourself, of the self-love part, because we're so used. I was married for 31 years. You know that you spend so much of your life worrying about other
Mm.
people. What do they need? What do they want? And as
Amen
you're
to
on,
that. Right?
right?
Amen
And
to
when you're
that.
on
Like,
that run up, I'm
Especially
sorry,
women.
when you're on that runway and running up, one of the hardest things is to think about yourself. It's really hard to think about what I want, what I need, because you've forgotten how to do that.
right.
Because we get to a point where we're acquiescing our needs and desires to keep the peace. We're making sure that our kids are okay and all that.
Yeah.
So your F.A.B divorce is meant to be part of your divorce process if you're starting it from the very beginning. If you're one that's on the runway, it helps you look at where are you in the process of your emotional stuff. Divorce is 15% legal and 85% emotional.
Oh.
So we were really working on that emotional part to help you get through the cobwebs of the anger, because anger is one of those really umbrella, emotions that don't really help you make clear choices.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what are you really angry at? What is it really anger? Is it hurt? What is it? Is it disappointment? Who are you really disappointed in? Is it yourself? So we're really looking at you to do that. But the more that you can do that throughout the process, the clearer you are about what you want, who you are, and what you want your future to look like. And so you're not looking just to survive your divorce and most importantly, survive after your marriage, but you're looking to grow through your divorce and thrive in your own life, knowing what you want, knowing who you want to be or who you're becoming.
Ah, love that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Regina, when you think about those numbers, right, that it's 85% emotional. And yet people focus on the legal, they focus on the financial, we get it. And that is when you look at like Maslow's
Mm-hmm.
hierarchy of
Yeah.
needs, like safety first, we get that. But it's not optional to deal with the emotions. If you don't deal with them, they come out later and usually in ways that are uncontrollable. So working through it so that you truly are, as we like to say,
Right.
you're not just going through it, you're growing through it. It's truly not optional. It's something you're going to have to deal with at one point or another. Otherwise, you get stuck.
Yeah.
Right. And dealing with it in the correct forum, not in your lawyer's office telling your lawyer about it because they do it. I mean, people do it all the time. Your lawyer is not a therapist, and you are
Right.
spending serious money to talk to your lawyer about how
Yeah.
angry you are at your ex.
Yeah.
And as women, especially, I love that you said this, Lori, like everyone else comes first. And then, then we might think about ourselves. But as women, we hardly ever, like, we're always last,
Yeah.
right? And it's natural. Like, once you have kids, well, first you get married, you have to think about your spouse, then you have kids. Like, kids, they're everything, right?
Yeah.
But when you're going through a divorce, it is the second most traumatic event that you will have in your life. This is like a crisis. You need
Yeah.
help. You need to not do this alone. You need to work on yourself so you don't, God forbid, get in another situation like this.
Yeah.
And to help become better on the other side of the divorce, just for yourself. You don't need to be better for
Absolutely.
anybody else. You just need to be better for you.
Absolutely. And one of the things I really want to stress here is that your FAB divorce is we don't give legal advice.
Yeah.
There, you will have a team of your mediators, your lawyers. We don't do that. But what we do is to help you. Like we have a whole unit on who you need to be in the moment. In the pre-divorce stage, you need to be the strategist, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to figure out. And so we help people through the program, and again, it's all self-paced, figure out what are their characteristics, what are their strengths that help them become the bring out that strategist in them to lead in that. When you're in process, you need to be a strategic pragmatist, right? This is the reality of the situation, not the wishes, wanna be, should have been, could have been, whatever. So again, we pull out what are the things about you that are pragmatic that you can apply to this, where you can compromise what you want. And then we want you to always remember you are an optimist. They may not be the shining part of it in the beginning, but towards the end, as you begin, your legal team begins to craft this, settlement or whatever, and you need to be optimistic about what your future can hold. And so those are the kind of things we try to bring into your FAB divorce so that you don't waste time and spend a lot of money arguing over. I think Lauren had a story about the dustpan.
The two people arguing over this expensive dustpan spent 10 times more keeping their lawyers waiting while they're arguing about who gets the dustpan. They could have bought themselves 10 new dustpans. So we really help people stay focused, like keep your eye on the prize. That's what the work is really doing, and help you really uh, keep everything in perspective so that you are taking care of what's most important and letting the rest of it go. And the other thing we like to remind people is this is not therapy. Now, I'm a psychologist by training. This is emotional regulation. This is emotional exploration. This is taking back control in your life. This is not therapy. And therapy often it does move you forward, but it's first like really focused on just the big negative feelings. And we really, I think this program helps you move much more quickly toward your future
Mm-hmm.
rather than sort of staying stuck, just expressing your
Yeah.
present and being focused on the past.
It's so interesting because we have three different tiers, and one of the first tier is just the course, the self. It's like 8 videos and workbooks and all the work. The second tier is the course, plus we have an online support group that you can join and come in and we talk. And then third tier is all those two things plus one-on-one coaching with Lauren and
Mm.
myself. And one of the things that we've learned through the support group is how effective the little mind switches are. So, for instance, FAB actually stands for focus, acceptance, and bendability, right? And staying focused on your present and what's happening, accepting what is. And one of the motto we have for acceptance is remember that they are capable. They did the best they were capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
And you
that's a
did too.
real mind switch. And you so as you did, because you are the co-creator of the rise and the demise of your relationship.
Right.
So that little switch has been for many of our clients has been a major kind of wow, when you just stop blaming and realize, okay, you know what? He was doing the best that he could do, that the self-love part it is, but it's not enough for me. I deserve better.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
better. So it's up to me now to move forward, not to try to change him. You know,
Right.
we get so many people that want closure when they come to their one-on-one sessions. I'm so angry, I want to get closure. And the thing we have to remind that nobody gives you closure. The
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
person that gives you closure is you. And that's a mindset shift and understanding that, you know, you say you want an apology and that would make everything feel better, but you've been married for 25 years and he's never apologized. So what makes you think
A lot of
in the
people
heat of
do
the battle?
think, yeah, we're going to be
Absolutely.
divorced and he's going to parent better. He's going to do this better. He's going to do that. And that your spouse is saying the same thing about you. They're still the same people. They're still going to do the same stuff. Like
Right.
it doesn't change just because you're divorced, but how you respond to it. And you ladies are teaching people how to respond to that or how to better themselves and deal with it in a more positive outlook.
Yeah, you're right. And communication is a big part of what we deal with, both communicating like the details, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
how to talk to your children, how to let
Yeah.
friends know, like all of
Yeah.
that. And also communication that's going to help you through your entire life.
Yeah.
Just knowing how to respond and not react.
Right.
And really all the work in your Fab divorce, even though it's specific around divorce, it also is applicable throughout your life. And
Yeah.
we encourage people, I mean, once they own the program, they own the program and they
Mhm.
can go back and they can work, what's most salient for them in the beginning, and then take another look and see what the deeper levels are and what applies to their life later on. And one of the mindset shifts that is so important that I'd love to tell your audience about, because it's really true for everything, even the hardest parts of our lives. Everything in life happens for you, not to you. That
Mm.
it's really once you take responsibility and you're owning your life, everything is an opportunity for growth. Everything.
Right.
So you will come out the other side stronger and better and more capable of dealing with your life than you were when you started.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. So if people want to learn more about the program and yourselves, where would they go to look?
They'd go to freedom-to-flourish.com. Freedom-to-flourish.com. And you'll find out everything you need to know about what Lori and I do individually and how to find us there. And you'll also find out about your Fab divorce.
Awesome. Awesome. And then tell us both your social media, which social media you hang out on.
So I am on Threads and Instagram mainly, and it's at Soul, SOL, Coach.
Perfect. Thank you.
And really, the best way to reach out to me on social media is through LinkedIn, and it's Lauren Weinberg.
Awesome. Awesome. Ladies, thank you. This was such a great conversation. I'm so grateful to have you both on our show today.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having
Regina.
us.
Yeah. And we want to thank everyone else for listening. I think our action item here is, to think about putting yourself first and doing the next step that's going to help you move forward. So with that, again, thank you for staying with us. I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. My website is forgewealth.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Forge Wealth, and on LinkedIn, Regina McCann-Hess. Go make it a great day. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Women in Wealth podcast. You can watch the founder's video I created for you to learn more about me and how I can guide you towards your financial independence at www.forgewealth.com. The information in this podcast is educational and general in nature and does not take into consideration the listener's personal circumstances. Therefore, it is not intended to be a substitute for specific, individualized financial, legal, or tax advice. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a final decision. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and Forge Wealth Management are separate entities from the LPL Financial. Our show guests and their companies are not affiliated with nor endorsed by LPL Financial, Private Advisor Group, or Forge Wealth Management.